reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
Lion's Arch wins when you join our cause.
How many times has the city been destroyed and rebuilt now? I've lost count.
Tells you something about the people here, doesn't it?
Heroic Gollum now recruiting talent across multiple positions. Happiness mode engaged.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome.
Ready for action.
Happy to meet you, hero.
Glad to have you with us.
You'll find everything you need here.
Hail, traveler.
Wake up, you motherless Edens. It's time to go.
I'd offer the traditional pirate's greeting, but your spleen is better unperforated.
You're listening to Guild Wars Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Guild Wars Reporter. This is episode 155. I am Celeste, and as always, I am joined by the alluring Allona.
It's a classic.
It is.
Yes. Thank you, scintillating Celeste.
Ah, we're back to scintillating. I appreciate that one.
Well, if we're going retro.
Yeah, it works.
Just keep the theme alive. So. Things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Words. English words.
English words are happening. This is true. Allona, let's go ahead and jump right in. What did you do this week?
Well, the very first thing I wrote on a sticky note said, made Hunter sad and frown in disapproval again. But then neither of us could remember why he said that to me, and his response to that tonight was, to be fair, I disapprove of most of how you play this game. So I was like, yay!
Absolute disapproval, disappointment. That is all you're ever going to get from Hunter.
Yes. More definitive what I did this week is Fungeons and Fractals. We did Crucible of Eternity. I think there were a few of us that needed the knowledge crystals. Is it knowledge crystals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can unlock skins.
There may have been a goodly amount of, air quotes, good-natured arguing.
Yes.
Between Hunter M.
Mm-hmm.
Crucible is actually one of my favorite Fungeons, so I really enjoyed it. And Fractals went really smooth. I think we had a swap out, didn't we?
Yeah, because Irish had to go run an errand, so Panther came in and played with us, and that was fun.
Yes. So that, and I'm remembering this week to talk about doing guild missions with Maven, because I forgot last week, which is fine, because I had a lot of shame in the previous guild missions. But
saw.
But this guild missions, I didn't come in last for the rush, but it was super close, and my heart was pounding. I was so worried that I would come in last.
Aw.
I was like, Fump, and Cal wants to show me something, and he's like reaching over and kind of like waggling his fingers at me to get my attention. I'm like waving him off, like, just get away from me, I'm busy.
Leave me alone!
You don't know what it's like in my world. It was very intense.
I'm sure.
I can't even remember what the noise was this week. Which is good, because I don't want to spoil it for when the video goes up. But I didn't have to make it, and I beat Hunter, who didn't lose. But also wasn't there.
One of these times I want Hunter to lose, just so he has to go through the humiliation of making a weird noise.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen, honestly.
Probably not,
yeah.
But, you know.
I killed the Spider Queen and Kessex a bunch of times one evening with you and Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only notable because you got stuck in a treading water animation for a long time, and it was crazy, awesome fun.
I was down, so I used Deception on my Mesmer, and it threw me into the water, so I had to rally in the water. Well, I never got out of the drowning phase, so my arms are flopping around and my face is all funky.
You're gulping for air.
While on land.
Yeah. And standing.
Yes.
And you still did that while you were using your weapons.
Yes.
Which was super awesome.
Yeah, it lasted for a few minutes at least. It was pretty funny.
Power leveled my Guardian with Tomes of Knowledge the night before the patch.
Mm-hmm.
I had used a bunch of the skill point scrolls to unlock all the previous utility skills.
Yeah.
Then I was talking with, it was after guild missions, so it was like Inks and Matsta, Clouded, Irish Dog might have been there too. I can't remember who was all there. And they were saying, well, you wasted those because the way it's working, it won't work. But if you get to level 80, you'll get enough points as you level up that it should be all fine and everything. I was, so I panicked and I didn't want to power level, but I did because I'm weak. So I now have one of every profession at level 80.
Hey, that's really good.
I guess that actually wasn't even in my list of things, but now that I'm talking. And of course, I toured New LA and oohed and awed as I ran around.
Mm-hmm.
This was on Tuesday when the patch went live, and I didn't do a lot of talking with NPCs or really digging into some of the deeper stuff. It was more just the landscape and the architecture that night. And I also spent a little bit of time trying to work out the builds for my characters. I think I figured out what I'm going to do with my Mesmer for PvP, and PvE is still shifting a little bit. I got 32 of 50 of the Karka hatchlings, so I'm doing pretty good there. That was mostly with help from Hunter, and then you joined us for a while as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I got ripped off by the damn Ectoscrit. Repeatedly. I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times, but just at the lowest level.
But I haven't done it at all.
Dumb of me to do it.
Okay, so that means I definitely shouldn't.
Like, if you didn't need your Ecto for anything else, I could see it, but it is like dies for me. I am awful. And the thing is, I'm not a gambler in real life. Like, with real world monies, oh no, I am super tight-fisted on things like that. And yet, fake monies that I sometimes use real monies to get, sure. That's all I did. What did you do?
I also functioned in Fractaled. During the dungeon, Em had to tweet a picture of her wallet to prove that she hadn't previously done a path in Crucible.
Yes.
Which was, I thought, pretty funny.
Yes.
So during the Fractal, I tried to kind of Leroy Jenkins, and Hunter stopped me, and I was a very sad panda. Yeah.
He runs a tight ship.
Well, because I was just like, let's go, let's just go, let's just go. We've already done all this before, blah, blah, blah. And then Hunter's like, no, I'm pretty sure somebody here hasn't, and blah, blah, blah. And then Panther goes, yeah, I haven't done this in a really long time, or I haven't done this at all. So I was like, take away my moment.
Your Leroy Jenkins moment.
Yes. It was at the kitty cat columns. I mean, I thought... Like,
oh, right. I remember that now. You were full bore. You were half in there. Was like,
I was getting ready to activate it. I am almost level 80 on my Necro, who has leveled almost exclusively through crafting and tomes. So when I do take her out into PvE, I really enjoy it, but like, she hasn't done much. But I have a lot of fun with her.
What kind of, are you doing minion or non-minion or what?
Wells and Axe, Axe Focus, I think.
Okay. But like, are you running like a lot of minions?
No.
Okay. I love Well Mesmer. I haven't tried it since the patch though.
Speaking of patch and choosing builds, I've only gotten my Ranger settled. That's it.
Actually, I lied. I did actually do the Shatterer with my Necro, and the ground-targeted wells were throwing me off because I was not used to that.
I've always had them as ground-targeted, so it's gravy to me.
Yeah, you.
I explored a lot of Lion's Arch. I was running around in first-person view for like an hour, just seeing all the sights, and I recorded it all, and then OBS crashed.
No!
Because I was doing it in 60 FPS, and apparently at like an hour and a half, I run out of memory.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that made me sad.
So you lost it all? Like it became corrupted?
Basically.
Ugh.
I did Troll's Revenge, kinda sorta. What I mean by that is that Hunter and I started doing it, and then my son was like, hey, can I come with you? I'm bored. So most of the time, we were like portaling him back up, but then it turned out being Hunter portaling both of us back up near the end, and then Hunter just being like, okay, you can skip this part, and portaling us even further ahead. So it's like, oh, yeah, we did a bad thing. Okay. But, I mean, we got to the end, and it was fun. I don't know what it is about my son's account. He has great luck. All right?
Yes.
With RNG, he has great luck. He goes to the chests, any world boss, he never gets anything that he can use on his character. He always gets, like, heavy everything.
And what's he playing?
An Ellie.
Huh.
Yeah.
So his luck has been split, or all spent.
One or the other. Mm-hmm. So he was really disappointed. I was like, well, I got this staff. I'll send it to you. It's not like you can use it for another 40 levels, but, you know, have fun. Mm-hmm. He was all, like, appeased by this. Like, okay. I finished Princess, which is the Dragonite Ore Eater.
It's a cute name.
It is a cute name. And, I mostly did it with a guide, but Hunter took me through and showed me a few places. Like, we did, Shark Maw together, and he was like, turn up your sound and look for it. Don't just look at the guide. So I did.
Yeah, they did a really good job on that with the audio locating. Like, So I guess it's probably way better to do with a headset.
Yes, I would say that for sure.
Yeah, I want more like that. Although, we were trolled by someone
Yes.
that had the miniature Carcahatchling mini out.
Mm-hmm.
They said mini too many times there. But it makes a sound like the Carcahatchlings you have to hunt down and throws off your, positional audio. That's the words. Thank you, Kella. But yeah, it was very frustrating. I'm like, oh!
Yes.
I asked if he could shut it off.
You asked in, like, the most polite way possible, and he totally just ignored you.
Well, he found it and ran away right at that point.
Some of the torches in Shark Maw made me confused, like really confused, because the crackling sound was really close to the carca noises.
I have noticed that anytime there's fire around, I do know what the difference is, but it is close-ish at certain volume levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crackling.
So let's go ahead and talk about when we live stream. We live stream on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. EDT, 6:30 p.m. PDT at twitch.tv/MMOreporter. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, and remember to rate and review us there so that, we're doing awesome. Or you could visit us on YouTube as well and subscribe to our channel, which just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, by the way.
Yes, we're over. 1,004 last I looked.
Yay! And a brief note that we're not going to have a show next week. Mm-hmm. So on the week of July 1st, there will not be an episode.
Between Canada Day and US Day.
Yeah. Between those two holidays, we decided I think we could take a break.
And Thursdays may or may not be a continuing thing. It may possibly Wednesdays.
Yes. As a side note, we have a poll on our Twitter that indicates when we think we should move our recording day to, because Thursdays just really isn't working out for us. But we wanted to leave it open to you guys to either be on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Think we're ready for another attack?
From land, air, or sea, we won't be caught off guard again.
Long live Lion's Arch.
There was a patch, and there was a lot of stuff in it. Lion's Arch is pretty again. Go play the game. Go home. Bye.
Except listen to the show.
Well, honestly, I feel like there's such a huge amount in this patch that seriously, just go play the game.
Yeah.
Lion's Arch is completely redone. It's really, really pretty. So, Hunter put out an impression post for his feelings regarding Lion's Arch. He says, Lion's Arch in the original Guild Wars left something to be desired. I could never imagine that people actually lived and worked there. It was a settlement at best, but never felt like a city to me. 250 years later, Lion's Arch felt much improved in the sense of feeling lived in, and it certainly had a pirate aesthetic. something straight out of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney World. But I always felt it lacked something more. Here was the central city of the Tyrian continent, a megapolis that took in all corners, no matter the race, the creed, or guild. Yet there was little splendor, little wonder. A charming pirate shanty town that reminded me of Bree in Middle-earth, but not Minas Tirith. Conversely, a lot of folks told me that the piratical, dirty Lion's Arch was more fitting to, like, realistic expectations. And I don't agree with them, but it is a valid opinion.
Yeah, I like both for different reasons. I can see both points. And, yeah, it's good. I like it. It does feel very different, though.
It is extremely different.
I did notice, who is it? I think it was Wooden Potatoes video where he was talking about running around and that, you know, there were times where he had no idea where he was in relation to the original map.
Mm-hmm.
And that certainly happened to me. I'm like, I have no idea where in because there's old Lion's Arch that's underwater.
Mid-Lion's Arch?
Mid-Lion's Arch. I have no idea where in Mid-Lion's Arch I am. And yes, Disneyland. I got a very Disney vibe off of the new one, which is, to me, is awesome because I love Disneyland.
I'm happy with the architecture. I love that it's overtly nautical, but not. Mm-hmm. There's all these little touches that make it seem extremely game-like Lion's Arch to me. Like, oh, it's still Lion's Arch, but you wouldn't know it by just looking at it.
It is nautical theme in the sense of, like, there's the starfish and the octopus, and it's more marine-themed than nautical-themed. And I love that, you know, there's the buildings that look very Norn-like in their shape. In fact, the aerodome itself, even though it's like a mantis ray, still has that swoop that reminds me of a Norn building as well. And yeah, the lighthouse that mimics the look of the drill to a certain degree.
It's a shell.
No, not the lighthouse.
The lighthouse is a shell.
Because there's a shell where the trading post is.
It's a shell.
Oh, we're gonna have a fight now. Drill fight.
It's a shell. Do I need to go and dig out shells that I picked out when I was a kid and, like, show you guys pictures of shells that it matches perfectly?
I got a drill vibe off of it.
It's a shell.
And I thought that was the, you know, like, damn you, Scarlet, we'll show you. We'll reclaim the drill. I also like that, even more than before, it feels like somewhere where people will live.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And I like that a lot.
He continues with, it's amazing how little real content ArenaNet can put into a patch to whip up my hunger to play Guild Wars 2. The last 6 months have been pretty dead, but I've played for hours on it in the past 2 days.
I've actually played very little, but that's just timing-wise for me, not because I haven't wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been having a blast, and honestly, it's not that I'm hyped for Heart of Thorns, but I'm excited to see what the rest of the world is going to look like, because this looks so good.
Yeah.
Vereen also shared her thoughts on the renovations. Luckily, with the rebuild of Lion's Arch, both of these things are gone. It feels like a proper city that would be a trade hub for 5 races. It feels like the grand, wealthy city that such a place would be. And it has recovered a lot of the feel that GW1 LA had. The palm trees, the white stucco buildings, the decoration on everything. It has that flavor back again. I don't remember there being a whole lot of white stucco.
I don't either, but now I need to go look.
Yeah, I feel like I need to reload in, because I still remember it being kind of bricky.
Drab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have not fully explored the rebuilt and reborn Lion's Arch yet, do make sure to do so. It is a completely different city from how it was before, and there are so many great little details. Sure, play with builds and fix any junk Ascended gear you have, but make sure to explore LA. It's worth it.
Yeah.
The last little thing that I will share about Lion's Arch is Inks was doing like a walkthrough, and he got to the end where he was looking up at the moon through the different pillars, and he says, "Good night, Lion's Arch. We missed you." And it was just like, right in the feels, man.
Actually, I do. I'm choking up a little bit. I actually haven't seen that video. I'm going to have to take a view through.
It's just a nice walkthrough sort of thing, but it's like, oh my god, this is so great.
But that ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Joe was saying the Crichton houses were white stucco, but GW1 LA was more beige brown brick.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. And I remember the Crichton houses that were near the farms were white stucco.
They were, with the thatch roofs. Mm-hmm. Terza Bauer had tweeted out that added an option to lock the ground target marker at maximum skill range, preventing the marker from being placed out of range.
Yeah, because this is some of the little quality of life things that were put in with this patch. People just were like, LA!
Yes.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, so she just says, hey guys, don't forget this is new today.
Yep.
And then, look. And I love this feature. Do we talk about it later on? Probably not.
No.
I've turned it on. And now when I'm running around and I want to blink, I don't have to try to run and try to place my thing in just the right range. I can just push right out. Done. Go. So, yay.
Always handy.
The item tooltips for soulbound items will now display the name of the character they are bound to if it isn't the current character. It should say bound to you if it is your character.
That would be pretty cute.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited about the fact that I'll be able to clear out my bank easier because I know there's some stuff in there that's soulbound and I don't know to who.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple things and I'm I have no idea whose this is. And I haven't gone and looked yet, so it'll be a surprise. Yeah. Yep. Guilds can now store up to 25 each of their Guild Banner, Guild Banquet, Guild Siege, Vault Transport, and Guild World event consumables. So,
yep.
We don't have any.
Oh well.
Well. Also excitedly, because, this is all pretty exciting actually, personal story update. Most notably, a raw story is now soloable, but can only be done once per character now, unless you hitch a ride with a friend who also has it and needs it. So,
Which I haven't taken care of that yet. I still have my elementalist on that last story step, but she's going to be my guinea pig after I finish editing the episode.
Really? Mm-hmm. Strokes beard.
No, I'm going by myself.
Damn. Okay. The permanent versions of the Royal Terrace Pass and Captain's Airship Pass will no longer cause the player to be kicked out of the VIP area when logging in as long as the pass is still in their inventory.
Praise Morty!
Yes. I think Hunter tried it, just tested it without it in his inventory, and he was booted out.
Yeah, I just logged into my engine and she was automatically still there. And I was like, finally!
They added a Mystic Forge recipe to change the stats on ascended weapons and armor. So if you are working towards, say, Rampagers Ascended and you get
Valkyries or something.
You can use these recipes and switch that piece of weapon or armor to the stat that you want. So, yay!
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there are changes, big changes to the build, specializations, and training area of the game. There's a whole new UI with tabs, many different tabs for you to select all of the things that you need to do to make sure that your character knows all the skills they need to know, has the right specialization / trait lines working, and has trained up to have these things unlocked and available on your right side of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The trait lines are now called specializations, essentially. And you can only have 3 active at a time, so you have to choose wisely. Specialization slots unlock at different levels. So your first one unlocks at 21, and then 45, and then 71. And they're game mode specific, so you'll never have to run out of World vs. World and have to change your whole build again so that you can do something in PvE. And they're also locked differently for PvP content, which is something we've seen
for a while
already.
Yeah. Wow, I'm glad that it's for World vs. World as well.
Yeah, so now you're able to be like, hey, I don't have to worry about this. The only thing that you'd have to change out would be your gear if you have different sets. When you log in, you'll see a build that is similar to what you had been running, in case you forgot to screenshot it before Tuesday.
I have heard some complaints about this, because, it tries to do the best job it can, but there were enough changes that it's this isn't at all right. That being said, I thought it was a really nice touch. And even though I went in and tweaked, I actually did leave mine close to what it offered, at least initially.
Yeah, I went through and I'm working on a new way to play my ranger completely, so...
This is a good opportunity for that.
With all of the changes to the skills and stuff like that, I'm really working towards something different from what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Still bare bow, but different.
Bare bow. Barebow.
All non-weapon skills have to be trained in the new training tab, and you spend your hero points, which used to be called skill points, and that's how you unlock these skills. Training for the utility and the heals unlock at level 11, while elites will unlock at level 31, which is when you're able to put them on your bar anyways.
Okay.
Antitoxin spray is gone.
I wonder if I'll get reimbursed the 25 skill points it cost me to get it on a couple of my characters.
I don't know. I'd like to know what happened to all of it.
Yeah.
Like, not something they really clarified.
We were talking about this in chat the one night, and I think most people didn't use it. I actually did, on occasion, in groups, use it. Like, because it did such good group condition purging for certain things. Mm-hmm. I thought, well, it would be nice, like, I would use it before I needed to use it. Like, I didn't use it when I thought I could use some healing. I would use it to help the team whenever I see the party members, a little too bogged down with one of the conditions that those were affected. So I'm a little bummed. I did like it, but oh well. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll survive.
It's one skill, and another thing that they had said that they were trying to do was to unite all of the skills. Like, there is no PvP division right now in any of the skills or traits. So they needed a way to unite it without there being big conflicts as well.
We have 2 people in chat saying that they actually used it.
Mm-hmm.
So at least 2. Yeah, so maybe more people used it than I realized as well.
Just because we didn't use it ourselves. Like, me and I think Hunter had said, who uses that? Well, it just means that the 2 of us didn't. A lot of people could have.
Yeah. I wonder what the point of taking it out would be.
I'm not sure. Just that they decided to take it out.
Okay. Hero points and spirit shards are a thing. So we've talked about this leading up to the patch, but now that it's live and we've had a little bit more hands-on experience with it, we thought it would be a good idea just to clarify, perhaps, for people if they're not sure yet. So the hero points and spirit shards are both come out of the skill points that you previously received from leveling and also from completing skill challenges, which are now hero point challenges. Because ArenaNet felt that skill points were trying to be 2 completely different things. So hero points are used to progress your characters through profession reward tracks, and spirit shards are currency. So they're stored in the wallet and may be traded to Miani and the Mystic Forge attendants for the same things that you would spend skill points on before. Mm-hmm. Excess skill points and scrolls of knowledge were converted to spirit shards with Tuesday's patch. They're gone, but it means your overall tally of spirit shards goes up. Tomes of knowledge, if you don't need them to level a character, can be traded to Miani for 1 spirit shard, and writs of experience can be converted to a tome at a rate of 20 writs per tome. And once you're actually in there and using it, it seems pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I actually do like that they split them separately. I will say, I don't know about you, I actually found the hero point challenges kind of hard to see on the map a lot of the time.
I have not tried to actively look.
You probably wouldn't have seen them because they blend into the background.
Oh, do they need to be a different color?
Well, they're kind of like a pale gold.
Oh, yeah, that's like every terrain.
Except underwater. They stand out in water.
That's not good. Alright, so that's something that probably needs to be looked at.
Maybe it was just the map I was in, but I was like looking at it, I'm like, oh. I was like, what's this smudgy mark on the map? I'm like, oh, it's a skill. It's the hero point challenge. Okay.
Somebody just smudged some ink over in this little area. I don't know.
I think in this particular map, it happened to be almost exactly the same color as the background landscape. But anyway. So kind of playing a little bit into this, more so with the hero points, level reward changes and what you really need to know. So by the time you hit level 80, you'll have 398 hero points, which is enough to unlock all training traits and skills for the core specializations. So you're good to go.
Yep.
Weapon skills are unlocked by level 8.
So all of them should be unlocked by the time you're level 8. Mm-hmm. The underwater weapon skills are unlocked altogether at level 8, so you don't have to wait to learn them one at a time at all. Weapon swapping is a level 10 unlock.
Yep.
For some reason. Utility skill slots are now at 11, 15, and 19, with your elite still being at 31.
Now, the weapon swapping used to be 7, right? At launch?
I think so.
And did it go up or down with new player experience?
It went up.
And now it came back down a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little. Profession skills, F1, F2, etc., unlock at 5, 11, 15, 19, and 31, which is the F5 for engineer, which I have the feeling F5 is going to be used on a few of the other professions eventually, right? With the other specializations.
I think that's probably an accurate assessment. But they're only calling that one out for now, because it's the only one we know about. In general, scaling down has been weakened, and scaling up has been increased. And the wording on this, I think, is a little unintuitive.
Yeah.
So if you are a level 80 and go to, say, Wayfarer Foothills, you were scaled down, but the difficulty still wasn't too difficult. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But I think it's the opposite of that. If you're a lower level and you are upscaled something, it's not as difficult as it was previous.
Well, the only place that has upscaling is PvP and World vs. World.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure how else you could say that succinctly, any better than they did, but...
Yeah, it's still a bit confusing either way.
Mm-hmm. And stat scaling now better accounts for the level ranges at which equipment begins offering more possible stats. And it says examples 1, 2, or 3 stat pieces of gear. Rarity scaling now takes into account how close you are to the maximum available rarity when scaling up or down. And we may be wrong on this. We're taking a stab in the dark as to what this means, because I even Googled the entire line and did not necessarily get a lot of confirmation on this. I guess it means that you will be more likely to get items of higher or more commonly lower rarity based on what level you are at while scaled up or down. So if you're in a very low level zone as a level 80, you will still get level 80-ish drops, but you're more likely to get like fine or masterwork, perhaps fewer exotics. That's how I was reading that and worked it out with, I think, Hunter and Clouded in chat before the show. I don't know 100%, but that's kind of what I was guessing. If that is true, I wonder how Magic Find would also affect it.
That, and what about the world bosses?
Yeah.
Like, from those chests, does that mean that now the exotics that you have a chance of getting are even less likely? Or do they have their own little pool?
I honestly think that line needs a little bit of clarification onto what that means.
Mm-hmm. Attributes on all equipment has been increased by approximately 30%. And this is where we're going to go ahead and talk about the Ascended versus Exotic. And actually, there was a lot of hubbub last week when we had gotten the premature patch notes. Mm-hmm. And people read it and were like, this seems wrong. But basically, Colin Johansson went into the forums and he was like, hey, it's fine. It's still just 5%. It's cool. So there is just a 5% difference for Ascended versus Exotic.
Yeah, it seemed to assuage a lot of concern from what I saw.
Yes.
Yeah. Conditions are updated as well. Basically, they're all awesome and shiny, and we've talked about them already, and they've already been slowly being nerfed.
Very slowly, yeah. Things are being changed.
As they're working out the balance. I think it's the patch went live, and it was like things were melting.
Yeah.
Because of the conditions. So they're taking them down in increments, letting it sit for a bit, at least that's what it seems like. Although I did, and I can't remember where I saw this, I saw a contrary take on that, in that it's, instead of making conditions weaker again, the people who have, okay, and I have no idea if this is true. This isn't me saying it, this is someone else saying it. That people who were used to just standing in one spot and hitting things for tons of damage, without blocking or dodging or evading or trying to do decent condition removal on their bar, those are the people that are the most affected, and they should just learn how to modify their build as a result.
Okay.
So I don't know. That was just like, obviously someone who was very pro conditions wrote that. So.
Yeah. The meta is changing at an alarming rate.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bah.
There are also wallet updates. In fact, there's a whole little tab for the wallet, which we'd already talked about before. Mm-hmm. It's on the inventory panel with a little stack type symbol on the bottom left. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of new currencies listed with room to grow as well. So it's kind of as we expected.
Yeah.
And there are a bajillion different changes to each profession. So you all can read that.
Find the ones that you understand and know really well. Other than that, play with them.
Yes.
I will go back to the wallet very briefly. I did know Hunter mentioned the other night that he misses the ability to just mouse over it and have the currencies pop up. But I do think this is the better option overall.
Yeah, that's kind of just creature of habit.
Yeah.
I mean, you get used to it eventually.
Eventually.
Behind designing the new Lion's Arch was the title of the Hidden Arcana post that was out today. Anatoly Ingram introduced us to Dave Beetleston, who is the environment art team lead for the group behind doing Lion's Arch. The environment art team that he heads up is responsible for a huge amount of items seen in-game. From castles to candlesticks, Dave said, and it's important to them to have equality and diversity among team members in order to create content from many different perspectives. And, there's a lot of varying props throughout the game.
Yes.
So I can totally see the fact that there are probably a ton of people, very different people, doing this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Peter Fries started as an environmental artist.
Many moons ago, I believe. In reinforcing Lion's Arch's walls, the environment art team realized they could also reinforce its importance to Tyria, which kind of goes towards, their whole concept behind the overall look of Lion's Arch, I think.
Yep.
They go on to say, the city retains much of its nautical-themed visual charm, but with a more distinct purpose. As Dave pointed out, it makes far more sense to tell fellow players that they should head to the giant octopus or the jellyfish for various services, rather than to direct them to points of interest or the nearest waypoint.
Yes.
And honestly, that's how people are communicating right now, because we're all feeling like we are out of place in this new city.
Octobank.
Octobank. Everybody's confused.
Yes.
So it's nice to be able to be like, it's over by that octopus.
Octaquarium, yes.
It's out by the Dock Lobster.
Oh, that had to be on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Dave how the redesign might affect official in-game holidays as well, and he explained that Halloween will remain in Lion's Arch since it has strong roots in the city. However, Winter's Day will continue to be celebrated in Divinity's Reach, since it is a human holiday at its core.
One of my earliest memories of Guild Wars 1 is running like crazy, because the guild that I was in was already there in Lion's Arch, and they told me that I needed to get there for Halloween. Because I bought the game, the beginning of October, when it first came out. So it was I was not level 20, I was taking my time, and I was running to Lion's Arch so that I could get to the first Halloween.
Yeah. I like that it described Lion's Arch as the independent, semi-piratical city of Lion's Arch.
Yes.
We, as a whole, have finally recovered from the PR catastrophe that is pre-purchase. And I think everyone has pretty much decided it was exclusively PR.
I don't think anybody actually blames devs for this.
No.
If they do, they're kind of...
jerks.
Stupid.
Stupid jerks.
Yes.
If you're
stupid jerks in their faces.
If you're a stupid jerk with a face that likes the show, though, please don't stop listening.
Yes.
For all the players who registered the core Guild Wars 2 game prior to January 23rd, 2015, and who upgrade their account by pre-purchasing and registering any Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns edition before Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns launch, we will add one additional character slot to your Guild Wars 2 account. And that, I honestly didn't expect that at all. The standard, I certainly advocated for that one, but I did not expect those of us that got Deluxe or Ultimate to also get a slot. I thought that was pretty generous. I mean, I'm not going to turn it down.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's been around. This is not earth-shattering news to me at all. It seems like a fair thing to do.
They are also offering refunds for folks who purchased after with the expectation that they would need to have the core game first. And then they went on to clarify that was never their intention.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had bought the game after Heart of Thorns was announced and just don't want to play ever again, you will be refunded and your account will be closed. And I thought that was really generous of them. Basically people got a 5-month trial period if they just...
This was also for folks who had bought it, thinking that they were going to need it, and tried out the game, decided that they didn't like it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought that was an interesting one to add in as well. And then I liked how they closed the post with basically a, let's be clear. Here's our direction moving forward. And it's like this, and this. So
yeah, that all expansions from here on out were going to be wrapped into the next sale of the rest of them, essentially.
Yeah, you'll never be able to buy just the core game, or just that expansion, or just the next expansion. It's like one purchase fits all.
Yes.
I like that clarity.
I do too, especially for people who may take a break from the game for a few years or something like that. If they come back and, hey, there's been 2 expansions, guess what? You don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get your account up to date because you're missing 2 expansions. No, you just pay the same amount as anybody else getting a new account.
Which says to me that the Black Lion trading post is very healthy.
Extremely. Speaking of Black Lion Trading Company, we've got some news. Well, there was a 24-hour item that's already come and gone. If you wanted it, sorry.
Wing tees.
Yeah. There's also the Gallant weapon set, which is introduced, and the scientific ones are still 1 ticket.
Yeah. At least as of last night they were, because I checked that out. So I could certainly see how the Gallant weapons are going to be a draw for a lot of players that don't like the dripping and the glowing and...
They're classy looking.
Yeah, they're classy. I do like the scepter and the staff quite a bit. The rest of them are like, meh, but they're certainly beautiful and they're very detailed. If you are the type of player who doesn't like basically great swords that look like you should be an ogre to be able to wield, these are a lot more realistic looking weapons.
They're pretty cool looking. I'm not gonna buy one, but they're cool looking.
Yeah.
The deluxe upgrade for the hot pre-purchase, in case you just got the standard and you want to go ahead and upgrade to deluxe, you can buy it in the gem store for 2,400 gems, which I think is like $25 US.
Which is the rate. The difference between the 2 editions.
The toy miniature eggs are added as a drop to the Black Lion chest, and it's kind of like a Kinder Egg, but with mini pets.
But no chocolate.
Yeah, no chocolate.
No.
Black Lion weapon specialists in home cities and trading outposts have been simplified and will only show the 4 most recent weapon sets. The rest of them, you can go and see them, but they're in the Black Lion vaults in Lion's Arch. And it's pretty cool because you see the NPC and it's got like a picture of, I think, like one of the weapons above. So you get a good idea of which one you're looking at. It's like very pictograph oriented. I don't know. I was going with something I don't remember exactly.
Oh, and Jaw was saying in chat that LA's now kind of like Epcot's World Showcase, but instead of country pavilions, it's a giant sea animal pavilion. That's exactly what I said!
It's a water park.
What's a Kinder Egg thing? Oh, it's a chocolate egg that's hollow, and on the outside it's chocolate, and then it's got like a inside bit that is white chocolate, and when you crack that open and eat the chocolate, there's a little plastic yellow Capsule, yeah, thank you, that's a perfect word. And you just take that apart and there's usually like a toy inside of some variety. So sometimes like it could be a puzzle with tiny little puzzle pieces. It could be like a little car that you can put together.
The only reason I know about them because my daughter is obsessed with YouTube videos and surprise eggs and stuff like that.
Do you require my assistance?
Ask an Azura.
Excelsior.
So we got 2 messages from Irish Dog. And the first one is, Excelsior, mesmerized Allona, coherent Celeste, and Miss Veteran Ultra. I hear you are inquiring, Azura, for the bountiful knowledge we hold. Well, Packmule, for those who don't know Azuran names, the first name is spelled Pakkmul, who is being held against his will. I'm going to tell you how to gather globs of ectoplasm for whatever crafting you need, or gambling now. Gathering ecto can be precarious to gather since the Ascalonian blood farm was closed, since humans don't want to anger the already angry dead. But there are a couple ways to gather rare and sometimes exotic items quickly. My more adventurous colleagues have told me that dungeons, fractals, silver wastes, which are chest runs, vine wrath, and the jumping puzzle, the mystic drain, throw all your greens in, and even deciding to leave the lab and do guild missions all provide rare items. To elaborate on salvaging methods, It is best to use Mystic salvage kits compared to Master salvage kits on rare items and Black Line salvage kits on exotic items.
When deciding when to salvage and when to sell, I salvage
all rare items that won't sell for more than 5 silver over the trading post cost of Ecto. In simpler terms, in the current market it's best to sell rares that are around 45 silver. Once you pay the fees with it, you'll make a couple silver over the price of Ecto. Exotics are a much simpler explanation. I sell if I make over a gold and salvage anything below a gold. And fun fact for those who don't know, you can salvage Ecto to receive crystalline dust and essences of luck. I hope I've enlightened the less superb races of Guild Wars Reporter, aside from fellow Azura. If you need a refresher at all, just hit rewind, or my colleague Irish Dog has a video on this topic. I don't know why you listen to him. He's a little crazy. From Pack Mule of the Mad Howlers. And Irish Dog of the Mad Howlers was holding him hostage.
Yes. Our second mail from Irish was, getting all the Mordrin parts for luminescent armor can be slightly a daunting task, but here are some helpful tips. First, make sure you've equipped extractors before you fight bosses. Second, if you're gathering from the Troll, Thrasher, and or Cherry bosses, you can hit them twice in a Silver Waste run. By this, I mean if you are collecting parts from the Troll, go to Amber Sandfall. That's the well-known location. Then, after that, head to the southern lane of Vinewrath. You'll be attuned to troll bosses, and in the southern lane, you'll fight a troll boss. So camps to lanes are Amber Sandfall to south, Blue Oasis to mid, Indigo Cave to north, and lastly, when extracting parts, you need 6 parts, 7 technically, as I explain in the next paragraph, from each of the 4 bosses. So if you're just starting out, use experimental extractors on the bosses until you get 3 to 4 parts per boss. 4 if you feel lucky. After that, use the specific extractors to obtain pieces. 3 things to note. First, you can use different extractors while attuned to a boss, meaning you use an eye extractor on the troll boss at Amber, get the eye, then while attuned to troll in the south lane, you can have a kidney extractor equipped and get the kidney. This means extractors will override each other if you equip multiples at the same time. Second, to gather the bladder, you need 2 pieces to make a full bladder, and to exchange parts for bandit crests, you can find an Azura who travels the Silverways who will take your parts, but he will give you more crests if you find him at proper locations, which the game doesn't tell you till you talk to him. But Matsta.Ninja has a map of the Silverways and will tell you which locations give you the most crests per part.
Yay! I need to do that. I actually am carrying a bunch of parts.
Yeah, there are quite a few parts that I'm just kind of holding on to, and I should go ahead and keep an eye on the map so that I can trade them in. But honestly, I've been so busy just running around LA, I haven't been to Silver Waste in a long time.
Yeah. I actually haven't been to Silver Waste in a long, even longer than long time. I just have so many other things I need to do, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I haven't finished Luminescence at all. I haven't even unlocked all of the skins yet.
Me neither. This is a bit of a segue, but partly, I know I can spend bandit crests on most of the ascended rings, but most of them you can also get from doing the achievements.
Yeah.
And I want to finish those achievements. I don't want to spend the bandit crests. So that's kind of where I'm stuck right now.
Yeah. We both need to, hunker in and do the Season 2 achievements, badly.
Maybe we could do that next Thursday. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I got an in-game message from, a whisper, from Tide. This is the character name. They said, I want to know, what are your favorite parts of the new LA? They said, I know you're probably going over it anyway, but, actually, we never discussed our favorite parts, so we're going to do that now.
Yeah. My favorite is I really, really love all the kids running around. Mm-hmm. The conversations and adventures that they have together are really just great. Snick and Scratch are my favorites. But for the silliness, it's the kids who are over at Herotron and, mocking him.
Yeah.
That really makes me giggle. Environment-wise, I really love all of the jade frozen waves all over the place, especially around the memorial. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's so pretty.
It was a hard question to answer because it's also fresh.
Yeah.
And it's so much to take in. And just before the show, Hunter directed me to 2 specific quaggan that are out in Lion's Arch Bay. And I'm now enchanted and charmed with them. I really like the scavenger hunt. It's done really well.
Mm-hmm.
The architecture is phenomenal. The entrance from Gandharn.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't look like it's quite done yet either, which I thought was cool. I'm sure there's going to be... My favorite things are going to change the more I'm there.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see where it's going. Mm-hmm. I'm very interested in the future of Lion's Arch, and I feel a lot more invested in it.
Like I said, I haven't talked to a lot of NPCs yet. I know Hunter keeps like nudging me towards certain things because I think he's done a lot more of the investigation with NPCs and talking to NPCs, and you're like, you should go over here and do this. And so I do, and like there's some there's like, this is hinting at something a little bit ominous, actually.
Yeah.
Here and there. And so it's like, what's going on?
A lot of interesting conversations to be overheard. My tip this week, use a trait calculator that's not in-game to get a good idea of which ones you want to equip. I don't know why, but the new UI is like shiny and overwhelming to me. It's got a lot going on, and it could just be the newness of it, but I needed to look at a stripped-down version over on the calculator that's on Delphi that was done with that shaman.
Yep.
That one is like the easiest one for me to look at, I guess, because it's just like there's nothing going on graphically. I can focus on the words.
Yeah. Some of the illustrations are just, some of them, they're so good.
They're so great, and then when you pull and you've completed a training, and the little spires that are coming out like from the sunburst are like glinting and glimmering, like, that's so awesome! It's such a cheesy thing to be excited about, but it looks so pretty!
And it just, it gets vibrant and just, yeah. Actually, I was just thinking, I wrote down a note here, and we're kind of past it, but it kind of goes in with the UI, so I'm going to talk about it here. When you were talking about the tabs as well, because they're using so much more icons, so there's icons on those tabs. There's not the words.
Yeah.
And they're using icons for the specialization.
And for all of the traits.
And all the traits now. And I was thinking about that. That is much easier than to port the game to other languages.
Much, yes.
Even Roman numerals aren't universal. So I was thinking about that. I was like, icons are universal. Those are not. So
I wonder when China is getting all of this.
Yeah.
'Cause I have no idea.
Well, if it's anything like the Living World and all that, it should be like
pretty soon. Like
a week after or a couple days after? I'm not sure exactly.
I haven't heard anything about China update in a long time.
Even with a move like this, you could have it into more Cyrillic languages too.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're not relying on letters. It's something that popped into my brain that why a move to icons
makes even more
makes
sense.
Even more sense above just the I know this icon is what I want. Click. Not what the heck is 5?
Yeah.
So my tip, moving on, is do not ever, under any circumstances, and I tweeted this out as a bit of a precursor to this tip last week, under any circumstances, you should never tally up what you spend on the gem store. Ever. Just seriously don't. It will make you question your life. That's my tip.
I will never do this.
My tip is not to not spend gems. Just never add it up.
Never add it up.
Never add it up.
Never add it up.
And certainly don't add it up like cumulative, like over the past almost 3 years. Do not look at that number.
Nope. Don't ever do that.
So it's a brief tip, but I think very important.
Yeah. Don't forget about the game for Surviving the Mist, which will be not next week, but the week after.
So you got more time.
You got plenty of time, so that means you definitely need to bring your A game.
Oh, you're getting like ultra teacher mode on now.
Well, I'm just saying, because there's 10 gold up for grabs.
Oh, actually, you're Coach Celeste.
God, please don't call me. I hate coaches. Bring your A game. Make sure that you present your best idea, because you're going to design a tonic that totally changes the way your character sounds. This could apply to vocals and weapon noises. So bring out your best material, because there is 10 gold up for grabs.
Can I enter?
What? Oh, no. You're voting.
Oh,
remember?
Right. This is true.
Can't enter and then just, vote for yourself. Tales of Tyria.
So the first that we're going to show you is a commission of artwork from a Kaylee, character Kaylee, and I really like the style of this.
It's really pretty, and I'm trying to show it on the live stream on the right thing.
Oh no, like okay, well, when you do see it, the eyes, for as simple as they are, the face has a lot of expression.
Mm-hmm.
And the body language is really good. So, I really like that.
It's like a oil pastel style, but it's just really nice. It's a really nice piece, and I liked the way that it... Over on the Twitters, aka Meppy tweeted to Guild Wars 2 saying that they married their pet rock miniature at the new chapel area. And Ruby on the GW2 Twitter responds with, "That rocks!" which prompted Will Armstrong IV to bring it home with, "Never go to bedrock angry, never take each other for granted, and hold on to the sentiment you feel for each other today."
He wins and or loses. I'm not sure which one.
I think he wins.
That was actually very well done. I'm always very impressed when people are able to do wordplay like that easily.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm. So, because Lion's Arch is so new and sparkly, there's been a plethora of people posting screenshots, and Tasha Dark has posted quite a few to her Imgur account.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good, because Lion's Arch is pretty.
Very pretty.
I don't think I've taken any screenshots yet.
Wow.
I tend to get, like, tunnel visioned, I guess, because I'm like, oh, look, and then forget to actually...
See, I guess I kind of am the same way, because I will record,
mm-hmm.
and then have it corrupted, and then never take screenshots, so...
Yeah.
Because I expect to, like, pull screenshots from good frames or something, but these are quite nice. Now, over on Tumblr, Buns of Men shared a conversation that takes place from a citizen, I assume. "I've watched visitors throw a wide assortment of items into those swirling mists. One Azur in particular must have tossed in over 24 exotic weapons. It made me realize that Zamoros has probably collected an impressive arsenal by now. Somewhere in there, he's armed to the teeth with vials of blood and bottles of Allonian wine."
Oh, I don't...
I'm so done.
I don't want drunk Zamoros starting to go ragey.
Yeah, that'd be a bad thing.
There's a lot of really great dialogue, as per usual.
Indeed.
Yes.
And over on Guild Wars Players, they are giving away an Ultimate Edition.
Of Heart of Thorns.
Of Heart of Thorns, yes. And all you have to do is comment. And right now they are at 1,500 comments, roughly. And it is open until July 1st. So if you leave a comment, you have a chance of winning Ultimate Heart of Thorns.
Yep, it was a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. Gotta
say. The one is like, nice, this is a comment.
Yes. This is a comment. This is how I win.
That's awesome.
May the Six watch over you.
So if you have a community event that you would like for us to share, please send us an email.
Legion calls.
And if you've got a burning question for our Ask an Azura segment, let us know.
Seize the moment.
And so now let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor.
More people should learn to bard.
If you are in dire need of audiobooks, or just, you enjoy books with sound, you can go to audibletrial.com/MMOreporter and you'll get a free audiobook.
I'm selling. You buying?
And if you use the coupon code MMOReporter at doghousesystems.com, you will get an additional 120 gig SSD drive for free on your next build, and or possibly a Superstar Destroyer.
No free samples.
So if you're in love with the show or the network, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page. You should definitely check it out. Patreon.com/MMOReporter.
Let's see the color of your coin.
So, Allona, if people want to get into contact with us to share their questions, answers, or corrections, how could they do so?
They can email us at gwreporter@MMOreporter.com. Twitter is @GWReporter. Our website is guildwarsreporter.com. You can leave us a voicemail at
888-666-6778 or use the widget on the right-hand side of the website. YouTube is MMO Reporter Network, and remember to like our videos and subscribe to the GW Reporter playlist. And while you're hanging out there, try some of the other shows. You might find something you like. Facebook is GW Reporter. Tumblr is gwreporter.tumblr.com.
You must visit more often.
And you can visit us on Twitter. I am at OneBigPear, as in the fruit.
And I am at Selyuki.
In a world where you can visit us on Twitter, I am Ultra, at Ultratown.
Or at Hunter's Insight, one word.
You're kidding, right?
Or you can find us in-game, where I am Selyuki.5046.
And I'm OneBigPear.1249.
And I am Ultratown.5683.
Incredible!
And you can get me in-game at Hunt, H-U-N-T, I forget my user display name or whatever.
I can't believe it.
Until next time.
Yes, that's right. So, thank you for coming and watching the video, and we hope to see you in-game.
So that's how it's done.
Indeed!
Oh, you never split up the show.
Whatever, I'll start. So, there was a patch. It's Cummers. Yeah, italics are hard. Go ahead.
Italics are hard.
It's not a dock. It's a dock lobster. Do, 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 do. It is a completely different city from how it... That sounded bad.
What was that?
Somebody dropping something?
Yep. I gestured.
Thatch-roofed cottages! Sorry. I had to.
Yes. Most notably, a Raw story is now soloable. Soloable. Water soluble.
Yeah, I just logged into my engine and she was automatically still there. And I was like, finally!
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else right there.
Safe for work. See, I thought it looked like a crawfish too, but then everybody started calling it a lobster, so I started calling it a lobster too. Yeah. That's what I get for going with the crowd.
Yeah, correction. That's
Yeah. Speaking of the Black Lion Trading Post, hold on.
I am grinning ear to ear that I was able to segue that so well. Or some of my favorites were I have this one, it's a little tiny house. And when you pop it apart, there's little paint pots in it. So it's and the smokestack is the paintbrush. So it's just a little plastic paintbrush that you can use. It's so awesome.
First, make sure you blah.
How do you blah though?
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.